Yes, welcome back to the Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. I'm your daily host, and we are going to be looking at Arsenal's next manager, Diego Simeone, Massimiliano Allegri. Who is it going to be after Mikel Arteta? I'm one of those people who believe that in the next 5-6 games, Mikel Arteta is going to be under more pressure. I don't think he will be sacked, but I think he's going to be under more pressure, and ultimately he is going to be sacked. But there are reports pointing to Mauricio Pochettino. Pochettino is wanted by Real Madrid. There are reports pointing to Diego Simeone. Simeone is very comfortable at Atletico Madrid. Julian Nagelsmann is also thrown in the picture. Put in mind that clubs like Manchester United are also in search for a new manager, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer keeps fluctuating and giving them fluctuating performances. So we're going to be looking at that and more. So who could be Arsenal's next manager? Give me your opinion in the comment box. Subscribe and like the video. Let us get the party started. All right, the man on my screen is Diego Simeone, and he is one of the top class managers, world's finest managers so far. He has been at Atletico Madrid for some time. He has won them the Spanish La Liga, and somehow they had a couple of finals in the UEFA Champions League final, almost two of them, but they couldn't actually win. So they were unlucky. I think Simeone should have had, a Champions League, in his prime time with Atletico Madrid, but he couldn't. He just couldn't. He's a manager. You think, he has, this kind of branded football. His brand, his football brand is, quite defensive. But when you look at how his team plays, if you look at the kind of players he uses and so on, you just can't say he's, too defensive. He scores goals. His team score goals. You have seen Atletico Madrid score 7. You have seen, we've seen Atletico Madrid score 8 goals, against teams. So, I can't say he's totally a defensive manager. But for me, why I like this, Diego Simeone, and why I named this video Diego Simeone is the next Arsenal manager. I think we need a manager who can establish himself in the club. We need a manager who can establish, himself, in the structures of the club. And this man is Diego Simeone. And that's why, many Arsenal fans now regret that, maybe we should have, brought in Jose Mourinho. He's a good manager, but he could, actually, establish, himself in the structures of the team. He could, build this name, build this brand of football in Arsenal that could actually, speak for itself. And that's what, Diego Simeone is going to bring to the club. He comes in, he's going to get his own players. There is no question about that. He's not a kind of guy that's going to use Granit Xhaka or use Mohamed Elneny or sort of such players that is trash. He cannot just use them. You look at the quality he has at Atletico Madrid, the Sol Niguez, Kokes and so on. He's a manager that deals with quality, but he is a manager that has a brand of football, and this is one of the problems I have with Mikel Arteta. He doesn't have a brand of football. So if we had, Diego Simeone, there are things I know that are just going to, be up into the Arsenal team straight away. Defensive wise, we shall be okay. We'll be very good in the midfield, and we shall have the capability to score. And that's why I want to see maybe Diego Simeone have a chance at Arsenal. But the problem is the budget. He's he's one of the managers that if he's going to get away from Atletico Madrid, he wants a bigger club, a club that's going to give him a big budget, a club that's going to give him good money to sign up players. And if you look at Arsenal, they're going to give you 25 million across 3 years to buy Dominic Szoboszlai. I think if Simeone came to Arsenal, he would want to bring in, some players from Atletico Madrid because he has worked with them. He would want to bring on, maybe Jan Pereira Carrasco. He want to bring in, Sol Niguez to fix that midfield in there because it's just a little, a piece of trash, at Arsenal. So I don't know whether we can afford, Diego Simeone, but for me, I see him as a perfect manager. Not a perfect replacement of Mikel Arteta, not a perfect replacement of Unai Emery, but a perfect replacement of Arsene Wenger. Because for me, I still believe we are still looking for a perfect replacement of Arsene Wenger. He has been there for 22 years, and he has achieved everything he would achieve at Arsenal, apart from the Champions League. And everybody would say he was a little bit unlucky in 2006 that he didn't win that Champions League. He was a bit unlucky in 2000. That he didn't win the Europa League against Galatasaray. But apart from that, he has been a manager that has created a name for himself at Arsenal. He has everything that we know about Arsene Wenger is at Arsenal. Everything that is written and documented about Arsene Wenger is at Arsenal. And we are still struggling to get a perfect manager who could actually fit in issues because they are bigger than we thought. We thought we would just walk away from his shadow and create a new Arsenal brand with new managers and so on. It's not working. That means we have to go back and find who is going to be the perfect replacement on that man there, man like Arsene Wenger. But that is only one of them, Diego Simeone. Don't get scared. We have other options, and the next one is Mauricio Pochettino, the man who has been on the market. Is it going to be a year now? Actually, it is. It's more than a year, because we brought in Mikel Arteta, and everybody thought we were going to go for Poch, and Arsenal fans were like, Poch, but we didn't go for Poch. He has been linked with Manchester United, on a number of occasions, especially whenever Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, brings or slides off, the pace. They threaten him with, Mauricio Pochettino. It must be, he must be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's nightmare. But that's not why I'm recording this video. I'm really talking about Mauricio Pochettino joining Arsenal. Now, many people will tell me that Mauricio Pochettino works with a small budget because he was at Southampton, but he's also a manager that wants quality. The Southampton team he had, the Sadio Manes, the Dusan Tadics, they had quality. Maybe they are not 100 million players. They were not 50 million players. He didn't. Maybe Southampton didn't. Had not signed them at 700 million or 75 million. But they were quality players. He had a very good centre back. In Virgil van Dijk. He had a couple of players in there. At Southampton, and you thought the quality. Actually, if you look at the quality at Southampton then, and you compare it with the quality Arsenal has right now, the two teams can really compete, and we might lose the predicted 11 or the combined 11 to Southampton. They could have 6 spots or 7 spots in our combined 11. We know with Southampton that under Mauricio Pochettino then. So Poch wants quality. We don't have the quality. Will we give him the money? That's a big question, because Arsenal has never spent, in the last 20 years, we have been good at selling our best talents. Thierry Henry, Cesc Fabregas, Samuel Nasri, Alexander Hleb, Flamini, Van Persie. Who should I talk about? Should I leave Alex Sanchez? And maybe this is becoming part of our brand. Last season we lost our best goalkeeper, Martinez, one of our best goalkeepers. I think he was still second in pecking order to Leno. So Pochettino would want the quality, but do we have the quality? No. Are we willing to give him the quality he wants? I don't really trust our scouting network anymore. I was so proud as an Arsenal fan, 2, 3, 4, 5 years back. We used to be one of those clubs that could actually spot players, scout players, and bring in young players at very cheap prices, make them the men they became, and then at times sold them off, and maybe at times they walked away. But right now we don't have that scouting network. I don't know whether Mauricio Pochettino is going to work with that small budget. I believe when he comes back to the game of football, he wants to write his name. He wants to clean his name. He wants to reestablish himself as Mauricio Pochettino. And he was gonna need the money. He's gonna need tools for the job. And maybe Arsenal might not be the right destination. But apart from Mauricio Pochettino, let us talk about Massimiliano Allegri. Now Allegri is linked with Arsenal right from Arsene Wenger's departure. We were saying Allegri is coming. Then we sacked Emery. Allegri is coming, and now Mikel Arteta is going away, and we're saying Massimiliano Allegri is coming. He has the Italian kind of football, so the defensive prospects we have and the defensive abilities we have in the team right now, we shall not lose them if Massimiliano Allegri comes, because being that he's Italian, he's going to first look at how we defend, how we can actually improve our defensive abilities and so on. So maybe I'll believe that if we brought in Massimiliano Allegri, he has experience, he has a brand of football. I told you I love a manager who has a brand of football, and Allegri really does that has that kind of brand of football that I really have. But again, it's the manager that's not going to work with the quality we have. So it all goes down to how willing is the board, how willing is the board to support Massimiliano Allegri if they brought him in. Finally, is Nagelsmann. I'm not saying they are over, because they have other managers like Marcelo Bielsa and so on, which I'll be shooting so many videos about them. But let us talk about Nagelsmann. RB Leipzig is on fire, and he has, ever since they qualified for the German Bundesliga, they have never gone back. They have always pushed for the best. They want to win the league. They are always on top of that table. They are pushing Bayern on the table. They're pushing Dortmund. They're pushing Schalke 04. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean Schalke 04. I mean Borussia Mönchengladbach and Bayer Leverkusen, because Schalke 04 is dead wood anyway. But you see how, that kind of competition that he has introduced in the German Bundesliga, the kind of, a new nature of football that he has brought into, German Bundesliga football. It's competitive. It's no longer, you no longer think about Bayern and Dortmund, as the two, top spot takers, and then you think about Mönchengladbach, Wolfsburg, and Bayer Leverkusen as completing the the top 4, top 5. You have to think about now 3 clubs that can actually win the league in the German Bundesliga. That is, that is something that was not happening, 4 years back, 5 years back. Everybody, was thinking of the same thing. Bayern is going to win. Dortmund is going to either, push until they fail at some point in time. And Nagelsmann is a good manager. Look at how he has, transformed RB Leipzig. Look at how he has built RB Leipzig. If you brought him in, I would be so happy. Sorry for that. But the question is, if we brought in Nagelsmann and, you need to give him the same resources he has at RB Leipzig. You need to give him a Timo Werner. You need to give him a Marcel Sabitzer. You need to give him, a Konate. You need to give him, a Dayot Upamecano, because these are the kind of players that he's working with. He's working with quality. Those players in that RB Leipzig, side, almost 90% of them will walk straight into our starting 11. Including all both centre backs. If you're using a back 3, then Konate and Upamecano are just going to walk through in there and play with Gabriel Magalhaes. So we might want, I want Nagelsmann and Diego Simeone. Those are my 2 priorities. Then Pochettino comes third, and then Massimiliano Allegri would come fourth because of his age and so on, probably. But are we going to give these managers the tools for the job? It's a big question. My name is Kosi, and thank you so much for watching this video. It has been sponsored by Kosi's Arsenal podcast. So if you want to support me, do subscribe, like the video, and give me a comment. I'll be coming back with the Arsenal Tottenham combined 11 that will be at exactly 7 p.m.